Miconia threatens Maui. What? Oh no. I gotta call Atamaderis. I gotta ask him what's happening, what's going on. Boy, we gotta take care of Maui. This gotta stop. Mina. Thanks a lot for coming here and talking story about what's happening in Mauka. Tell us about it. What's happening about this Miconia, this plant that is affecting us all on our Maui Island?
Yeah. I think we're all kind of in danger because there's a plant from South America and Central America called Miconia. And it usually grows about 35, 40 feet tall. And it's supposed to be from South America, but it got into a number of Pacific islands and it's really causing trouble to the forest. In fact, to the point that we don't even know if the forest can go on. The place where we really learned about how bad it was in Tahiti. And what happened to Tahiti? It got introduced into Tahiti in 1937. It's really taken over the forest. Ari'i, you're from Tahiti. Why don't you tell what you know?
Yeah. Well, I just went back this year, with some friends, and I wanted to show him how beautiful Tahiti is. And I want to take him to this very special place called Vahiria. It's a beautiful valley with this lake way up in the top. And when I was a kid, like you guys' age, and even we call Taudarea, Opio, we used to go in there all the time, and it was kind of really, it's a special place, and it's very spiritual. You had to go in the river. I think you had to cross like the river like 80-something times. You kept crossing the river, and then you climb, and on the top, and you got up to the lake, and there's this beautiful lake with inside had eels with ears. It's like the only place in the world where these eels have ears, and we used to camp there. It was really magical, and the birds was, native birds singing and all that. So I wanted to take him there, so we went there, and I wish I had never gone there. I wish I'd never seen it. I wish it was a memory that I had kept from how nice it was before, because I went back. It's terrible. Here's some pictures. You can see how huge this thing is and how much it overtakes everything. Now when you look, that's all you see right there is Miconia. Look how huge it is. It's all Miconia. Everywhere you look, it's Miconia. Here and there, you see like one tree, a remnant of the native forest, a mara tree, which used to be nothing but mara tree. Beautiful tree. They used to make canoes out of that, really good wood. Maybe you saw one here, one there. You don't hear the birds anymore. It's horrible.
The biologists in Tahiti call those biological deserts because no Tahitian plants, no Tahitian insects, no Tahitian birds.
True. No, you don't hear the birds because their plants is gone. From the bottom to the very top, all you see is Miconia
and no keiki underneath.
Yeah, no, nothing underneath. Underneath, all you see is Miconia. No, that's it. There's nothing but Miconia. It's really bad.
And I had to change my concept of nature because I always thought that there couldn't be just one plant. There would always be hundreds of plants together in the forest. But as I look across this place, all the steep valleys looks like West Maui, but kind of like, in a way, like a cornfield for me. In that there was only one thing there, all this Miconia, purple, as far as you can see, all in the back. And sometimes you see one Tahitian plant, either underneath or on the top, but no babies. So it's coming from one side or the other and erasing all the native plants and animals as it goes to the other side of the island. If you go inside these Miconia forests, you don't hear a bird.
No, Miconia forest is dark. Sun doesn't go through because these leaves are huge. It blocks everything. It's a scary feeling to think that one plant took all over that and changed that. But now, whenever I think of this place, all I can think of is this devastation that this plant has brought.
And now Miconia is in Hawaii. Oahu and Kauai have some, and most of it's on Maui and the Big Island. And there's a lot on Maui and the Big Island. And so many plants now that we're almost at the edge of controlling it. And I really see that it's something that threatens all the plants and animals of Hawaii. Miconia really hurts me because I now see what happened to Tahiti is going to happen to Hawaii if we don't do something.
So there's no excuse for turning your eyes, you know, and being blind, because here's the example. You've seen it. This is what's going to happen over here.
Coming to see the situation in Tahiti and see how it's moving so fast. You know, this is a plant that a 30-foot plant can make, you know, like 80 million seeds a year. And all the fruits are bird dispersed, and the plant grows really fast, and it grows in deep shade. And then it grows to be 45 feet tall, so it towers over things. It eats forest, basically. It'll eat all the forest and only leave behind Miconia. The plants and animals of Maui are ancient. This is an ancient lineage, which is nowhere else in the Pacific. Completely unique.
Every information that's been poured out to us now, it's something real serious that's happening here on Maui. Yeah, where do we go? What's happening? Tell us what to do, or who is willing to do something about it.
If you can imagine yourself in a native Hawaiian forest with all of the different pieces to it, all of the different sounds, all of the different plants, and then realize that in such a very short time, it's all Miconia. And so we've been working really hard at trying to control it. We have field crews that go out and we search for the plant. They're way up Mauka. They'll find Miconia trees and they'll use a little bit of herbicide around the base. It systematically kills that plant. It soaks in through the bark and will kill the plant in place. This plant is so amazing that if you just chop it with a machete or knife, the bottom will grow back, the top will grow back, and we've even seen where if you pull off one of the leaves will resprout. Sometimes we have to pull it out. If it's small enough, we can hang it upside down in a tree so that it doesn't reroot. If we leave it on the ground, it's just going to grow straight back up again. We're also using a biocontrol technique, a fungus, that puts holes in the leaves. It's allowing the sunlight to get in some areas, and that's what the undergrowth needs to be able to survive.
It's a lot of hard work, and not only are there big trees to deal with, but there's intermediate individuals, and then there's the tiny seedlings that you're also afraid to miss, and those grow like carpets. I worked on a Miconia population in Lower Nahiku in 1996. It takes a lot of work and a lot of manpower, but I think it really can make a difference, even just small work crews in concentrated areas, because we went back to that area about 2 years ago and it was completely looked different. All the adult individuals we'd taken down had died, and there weren't any new individuals sprouting up right around where we had worked, and we had really knocked that particular population back. So I think, like you're saying, with a lot of hard work and careful work, that we can really stop it if we try.
But we need to start thinking really long term, because the life of the seeds in the soil can be 8 or more years. It can lay dormant in the soil without sprouting for 8 years. So Hina went back after a few years and it looked clean. Well, we need to go back every year, just about for at least 8 years, to get all of those keiki that are going to come up from that one fruiting tree 8 years ago. And not only that, that's being sure that we got all of the fruiting trees everywhere. So we need to start really thinking long term about this whole project. And it's not just a project. This is going to be something that we're going to be dealing with for the rest of our lives, and our children are going to deal with it, and their children.
Future generations are going to have to deal with it. They're either going to have to deal with the problem and solving the problem, or they're going to be victims, in a way, of all the bad things that come, of all the loss of Hawaiian plants, of all the degradation of our reefs and our water.
What we're using now is a lot of technology to be able to figure out where to go, where we've been, and where we need to go next. We use satellites to be able to track our movement in the forest, whether we're hiking or whether we're flying in the helicopter, because we need to keep track of where these trees are. We need to know where they're flowering so that we can go back every year for 9 years. We have to be able to use some technology to help us, and thank heavens we have that. That really helps, but it's still not enough.
So why is this still a serious problem and we're not as successful as we want to be?
We're not as successful as we should be because this plant is more amazing than we ever thought. It puts out more seeds. It grows just about anywhere moist. It has great ways of dispersing. It's flown around by birds, tracked around by people or by pigs, and it's just moved past every sort of barrier we've set up so far. We haven't had the tools we needed to fight this fight. We need to start taking it seriously. And that's something that we all have to realize is that, well, what do we want to save here? Are we willing to sit around and let our forest be take over and our natural resources and everything we consider Hawaii? Or are we going to take that stand and make a move to protect our resources? Are we going to make that call to our legislator and say, I really take this seriously, you should be too. And we want to put more money and more resources towards this fight, towards Miconia, because I guarantee you it's going to win if we don't do something.
If the environment change, we're going to change. Oh, yeah. And if we don't take care and Malama will do something about it, I mean, real fast. I mean, you know, I'm concerned. We're all concerned, especially for this Kamali'i over here. The next generations, what was here in the past, and for their future. Oh, how you feel? I mean, what can we do? I mean, you know, I mean, all right.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're at in my whole career, I never had a moment like this where I kind of feel like everything is threatened from now on. The forest as a watershed, as some place to get water from. The forest as a place for biological diversity, where everything, you know, Maui get all kinds of species that are only found on Maui, and now it's threatened. Plants and animals of Maui have no place to go. You know, if this island gets taken from them, you cannot put them on another island. They're gone forever. You know, it's all the olona, it's all the fibers, it's all the special life that has come to Hawaii and evolved only on Hawaii, nowhere else, you know, in the Pacific. And now all that is being threatened. And as a thing for Hawaiians, for all the plants, it eats the mountains, it eats all the plants, it takes all their uses, it affects the culture of people. Okay. And so I think we're really at a turning point here. I mean, we either have to control this or we're going to be a victim of this.
We come from the island. This is where we're from. And if we don't malama that, then it's lost. Like you said, everything will be lost. And there is no replacing. There is no replacing. And to think about that, it's scary. Makau, makau. And if we can help to prevent this loss, then that's what we need to do.
These are lobe palms, huh?
Yep, these are the lolu.
Do you know what species this is?
This is Aracena, the one that's endemic to Haleakala, the golden fur one, because of all the golden fur on the undersides of the leaves. It's a lolu. There are about 19 different Hawaiian types. And this is the one that's also used for the thatch, for the hale lolu. It's a kind of a special heiau used for fishing. Watch it, olapa. You know olapa for the dancing?
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Neat, yeah, the way it moves.
That's what the dancers are named after, yeah. Probably the dancers are named after the tree instead of the other way around. That's an olapa growing inside the hapu.
Yeah.
Hapu i'i and then olapa growing inside. And so probably the hapu was always there, and then a little olapa seedling started. There was a whole bunch of olapa seedlings around here, but it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And one day, probably the hapu will be gone, but there'll be a giant olapa tree here. You know, you always hear this saying, a hapu is, you know, the mother of the forest or mother of the ohia tree, and that's because it's kind of like a nursery. Everything's growing on it. It's beautiful.
We can look at the beauty of a place like this, but there's deeper significance.
Absolutely.
And it goes down to the essence of our story and where we're from and who we are. You feel it. You feel the history, and it comes from the plants itself too.
Hey, Amakihi. He heard us talking story and he came over. Hey guys, listen. This forest has akohekohe in it, apapani, iiwi, amakihi. This is the home of the Hawaiian birds right here. Sometimes even rare parrotbill will come down this low. When you think of this kind of forest coming all the way around to Ulupalakua, and that's all koa and mamani forest. And you know how many birds that can feed? You know what that forest sounds like in the morning? It's like insane. They call it dawn chorus. As soon as they wake up, every bird starts to sing the dawn chorus. Birders don't even count because there's so many calls, but it's like wow, I mean, I'm humbled.
Yeah, we gotta honor this kind of place. We have to, the world have to be made aware.
So, Uncle, what kind of fern is this?
This is the ama'u fern. It's a kino lao of kamapua'a. They're really beautiful. Sometimes they come out red like this.
Oh, yes, I like
That one's really
rose.
bright.
I
Yeah.
like
It's beautiful by itself, but as a kino lao.
It's so beautiful over here, and we really have to malama and take care of our kuleana.
This is the pi'oi. Or also called the hoikuhivi. And there's actually really rare insects that live inside the stems here. And this
Inside?
is and the only place they live in the whole world is inside this little piece over here.
Wow, look, it's grabbing onto that fern.
Yeah, see them? The young. Beautiful, yeah? Let go, let go.
No, I just made it.
No, I just made it over here. Hey, look here, you guys. Happy face.
Oh, wow.
Right there. It's beautiful. That's the happy face spider. Wow. This is also where the tree snails are, you know, which Hawaiians say, you know, sang like the crickets. You know, the singing snails of the forest, or the kahuli, for the little turn of color in them. Really beautiful. They're really beautiful. Like people call them like the living agates of the forest. Now they're really rare. They used to be all on the outside, but now they're only inside here. All the insects inside here are Hawaiian. You get inside the Hawaiian forest, yeah, they're all Hawaiian insects. Cool.
I was so lucky to see what I seen today, and for more of it to disappear, it hurts.
Hawaiians say hahai kaua I ka ulula'au, which translates to the rain follows the forest.
It's beautiful. You know, it's something that, you know, all this moss, it acts as kind of a filter, and when rain falls, it acts to purify. There's many things about this which just, like all these little koa leaves in here, probably bring down nitrogen, and it really adds all this little row of leaves here. They're just a natural fertilization. The forest looks like it was fertilized, but it's all natural from the trees, and this is all part of the nutrient cycling that creates a big forest like this.
The rain come and bring in the running waters to make things grow from the small to the big. Everything is so malie.
And to me, the forest, which is so special, you know, we've got the culture in it, it's got the biology. Out of it comes the wai, comes the fresh water. This is beautiful forest through here. This is as good as it gets, you guys.
It is so beautiful here.
You know, Ulu, it is really beautiful. You know, but there's something else about this place, you know. I mean, what makes it special? It's the fact that every plant and animal here in Hawaii, every native plant and animal has its own kind of unique voyage to get here, just like the Polynesian people. You know, to this place, it's the most isolated place on Earth. And to arrive here, it makes it so special because of those things. It's incredible luck. It's incredible trial. So you know, here we are in the Pacific, the biggest ocean in the whole world, and in the center of the Pacific, in kind of the pico of the Pacific, and as far as you can get from anywhere else, that's the Hawaiian Islands. And these islands kind of like, they came up out of the ocean sterile, and they've been here for like 70 million years, kind of cookie cutter islands forming off, and they march off, and they go out, they stretch out like 2,000 miles. And this is ancient life. And so everything that came here kind of came here by itself. It had to arrive by some, you know, some great miracle. Everything that came here on its own special voyage, and now we see them all kind of locked together. That's what makes Hawaii special. And it's not only the beauty, but it's the story that each one of these things can tell us.
And we're really isolated, right? So the ancestors of our plants and animals had to travel a really long way to actually establish themselves here, right?
So the miracle is, you know, when things get here, it's really a rare event. It's every like 65 to 70,000 years, something finally gets here, you know, a kanawao, a hapu'u, and that's when they start the story. So, you know, a lot of this is just an isolation, and it's just like the Hawaiian voyagers all came here. All the plants took their own voyage to come here too. The first miracle is they got here, but then the second miracle is that they changed. You know, they change into all these different forms.
How does that change happen? I mean, how does something that survived a chance migration of thousands and thousands of miles actually come here, establish itself, and then change? I mean, what is that process about?
Well, you know, I mean, a lot of it is just a miracle that we don't understand, but you could look at it as a tremendous opportunity. And because they're tall mountains, there's all kind of habitats, you know, from the dry side to the wet side to the up, you know, to up to down, all different kinds of substrates. When the lava flow runs through, it changes the area. So, you know, they got here, when they got here, they hit the big jackpot. And there were all these places left for them to come into, you know, forest, dryland forest and shrublands. And so one thing became many. Sometimes it's only a few, but in some cases it's hundreds of forms. You know, sometimes maybe thousands of forms, and because Hawaii is so ancient, they had time to do it. Because it's isolated, they didn't come very often, and when they did, it made a big impact. There's just so many different places to live in Hawaii. And when something came here and hit the jackpot, a lot of times they exploded into each of these places and made a different form of themselves. That's one part of the story in Hawaii is, you know, how infrequently things got here, but then what they did when they got here. All this tremendous, you know, range of habitats in Hawaii. One thing becomes many things, you know, all of which are only found in Hawaii. Unique, what we call endemic, but the bottom line is only found in Hawaii. Only found on Maui, in Kipahulu. Each one of these things has its own species that has made it there, belongs there, is kama'aina to those areas. It's a story that really isn't found anywhere else on Earth, but in Hawaii. But it tells us a lot about what life and the process of life is all about.
I'm glad to be in the forest. It is a sacred place. It is a holy place. And it's so nice that we are here. We can feel the papa. And you know, I can feel and everything's so alive.
I mean, the forest is a special place, and it is a sacred place. But something is threatening all that. There's something different in the forest, and that's because there's Miconia in the forest now. And the thing about it to me is that all this forest is threatened. You know, it might seem like it's always been here and it's gonna always be here, but that's kind of an illusion. All the plants that are here, they have a safe home now. If Miconia comes here, it won't be another just plant in the forest. It won't be like here and there. It will become the forest. There will only be thousands of Miconia trees, and there won't be room for anything else. All the other plants, Ie, or Lapa, Kanawao, you know, they'll all be gone, just like kind of Tahiti lost it all.
Imagine if you guys came back to this forest that you saw today that is so beautiful, and you came back and all there was Miconia. No Painiu, no Ie, no Hapu'u ferns, no overstory trees like Olapa and Ohia, all Miconia totally taken over. That would be heartbreaking.
You know, we've learned from the lesson of Tahiti, so if we can't take that lesson and turn it into something, all this will be lost. The consequences of losing it is that we'll lose all this and every bug and bird and plant in this forest.
E ha ku'una'au, knowing that it could all be gone, it would be really sad if generations to come won't be able to see that.
This is our opportunity to stop Miconia. To me, it all starts with the community saying, not on my island, you know, we're going to protect, you know, we're going to take care, we are going to malama. And it's a, you know, it's a big job too. It's not an easy thing to do. We never thought pulling weeds would be part of saving the Hawaiian forest, but that's the kuleana that's fallen to this generation.
But we can find a solution. We can find a way. It's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of support from our community and from everybody who loves Hawaii and who feels like this place means something to them is going to have to lend their support. This is a world treasure that we're trying to protect.
Important thing is you know there's a problem. You support the efforts of people to save it. If you can help pull plants or tell people about it, you should. But this is a shared opportunity. If the local community, we all embrace it, that's something we want to do. You know, it's like Hina says, you know, we can do it.
Yes.
You know, it's not something impossible. It is something hard, and it falls on our generation to do.
It's all really threatened and in a different way than it was before. Like, this plant doesn't act like other plants. It's totally way more aggressive, and it's really making everybody think twice about what we can do and that we need to find a way. We really need to gather our energies like we haven't before this to take care of any other weed problem that we've had, you know. And so it just really scared me, and it really made me want to express to other people how important it is to get support for this, because if we don't do something now, we're going to lose our chance. And once things are gone, they're gone forever.
Everyone says there's no place in the world like Hawaii, but it's so true. There is no place in the world like Hawaii, and it's all threatened by Miconia.
Ulu o ka ne me kanalo. Ula tau hi a lau te vai te ie. Ulu e hea kuan hoi kona kua. E ala ta vai he vai ola. E ola ia uta po opua. E ola ina haumanai. E ola no I ka kou I te pua nea nea. Eli eli kapu, eli eli no.